Wade Floyd, the most Texas name ever in the history of Texas. You are also a founder of COACHTUBE, which you launched in 2015. Do I have my facts correct?
That is correct.
Yeah,
I would say we went live in 2015. I wouldn't really call it much of a launch. I bought the URL a long time ago, and I've always thought about it. Actually, I have a background in more life coaching and a lot of, but it really became 2013, I think, when I was coaching a little league, RBI baseball league in my town. And I played pretty competitive baseball, but I was a terrible youth coach. And so why isn't there a platform like a Coursera or Udemy or one of these platforms for learning sports? And so for me, I was just thinking about that for a while. So I threw some dummy stuff up there, but eventually launched it. I started really working on it about a year later. So
is this your first kind of jump into being an entrepreneur?
I would still say I'm a failed entrepreneur. So my first big idea was a site called need2.com, which kind of solved my own personal problem. I always needed stuff all the time, just around the house, kind of like a TaskRabbit, but more open source. It's more it was actually started before there was TaskRabbit, at least outside of San Francisco, but it was more like a Upwork, Odesk, for your neighborhood. And funny thing got really, really popular. And I was top 10 startups in America, top 10 startups in Austin. But we never made any money. We got 30,000 active users. People, it was basically I have a need, I post it, and people just kind of like Upwork, right? Just cool. But for your neighborhood. Yeah. And it got super popular in Austin, but it didn't make money.
So what were those things that you took away from that experience?
You don't know what you don't know. It's you really don't know what you don't know. And I look back and all the dumb mistakes and people I paid. I think I made a lot of mistakes, technically, until I finally found the right team. I made a lot of mistakes about just my use of leveraging my own talents. I found myself spending so much time just stuff that literally I could pay a virtual worker $5 an hour for, doing it myself. And I left a really high-paying career. Look back, if I would have just took all the money I was making and paid 5 people that were experts in what I was trying to learn, it would have been a lot better decision. Not to say I didn't gain a lot of experience by learning things myself, because I think I'm better able to coach people and ask things when I actually understand it. But yeah, I probably would have worked one more year in the corporate world. I blew $400,000 of my own personal cash, saved money. I was a poor kid. There's nothing
better than running your own business, because you don't know what you don't know, and and when you get in there, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get myself out of this one? But because then you kind of get into this your second launch and your second business, and you take all the tools that you learned from that, and you kind of kiss it and wish it well, and you spit it out there, and the thing has, it's not an overnight success, right? But it is a success now. You caught fire, you figured it out. Do you remember that first video you put up there?
First when we started selling, before we were launched, we worked with this guy named Oscar Wegner, who was if you remember back in the 90s, he was the DVD king. He was on ESPN and stuff. And according to him, Venus and Serena Williams' dad, Richard, initially learned how to coach by watching his DVDs, or I think probably it was VHS back in those days. So some of our first 50 courses were just good content, but terrible production, old school videos, just they're looking to go digital. And so, yeah, I remember some of those being launched. The reason why I remember Oscar, because he actually sent an email out to his list before we were even live. I'm like, yo, Oscar, it worked, but it made me nervous.
Yeah. So, but just to take a step back for a second. So you have built out basically a library and an educational tool for coaches to kind of send the elevator back down to teach other coaches, high school coaches, youth coaches. So it's college coaches, it's college athletes, it's pro coaches, right, that are creating these modules, these online courses that are available to any coach in the world to be able to learn from the quote unquote experts and the professionals in the industry. And that's essentially what COACHTUBE is, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's super simple. We're just a platform that the coaches use to be able to teach online. So we give them every tool, technology thing they would ever want to be able to really monetize their expertise online. So it's really simple.
So yeah, all they have to do is plug and play, right? It's just a series of videos, and do you give them a guide to be able to kind of, here's what I need, here's what my layout's supposed to be, the length of the video. So is there instruction? What's been your biggest challenge? What's been the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome, and where you're like, oh my God, here we go again, or did you say you knew right away that this thing had legs and you knew you could monetize it?
I mean, even to this day, I think my first startup could be $1 billion company. I think it could change the world easy. But as far as challenges go, to answer your question, I mean, they're never ending. And if anybody on here has ever done a marketplace or study marketplaces, it's a lot of work, chicken or egg, those type of things. So my job is the funnest job in the world. I get to talk to famous athletes and coaches, and I get to my job's like a video game. I get to do cool stuff every day. Try to get as many points as I can. But the only thing that's ever stressful is wanting to go and grow and do things, and basically realizing you've got payroll, you've got all these things to take care of. That's the only thing that's challenging. But early on, challenging was, I would say, I had some technical challenges. I figured a lot of that out, but really we made some big mistakes. We went really wide. Within the first year, we had 30 different sports. And even though I read the books and I learned everything about marketplaces, how you're supposed to really niche down, but I'm thinking I just wanted to benefit from the network effects, because so many coaches coach multiple sports, and of course, I was wrong. And so we sold more this morning than we did our whole first year, right? And I think the biggest mistake we made was just trying to go wide, and sort of used to be cool, but not cool anymore, not the highest quality. And so people would just leave without buying anything. So then we went all in on American football, and we literally got the best, right? The best coaches, the best players, everything. And we also did some strategic partnerships with some partners. And now you walk into our football store, and we have over, I think, 2,500 courses from I think you take football, you take 35 NFL coaches have courses. You take over 100 of the BCS D1 power, all the Power 5 coaches. There's courses from almost every single program. So you want to just fill your cart. You want everything, right? So I think that was our biggest learning experience. It's just focus.
What's your day like? What is your energy like? I mean, you have so many different things that you have to do within a day. How do you schedule that, and how do you stay consistent every single day to keep cranking? And I know you need the energy to do it, but talk about your day-to-day as an entrepreneur.
I have a call with my business team at 8:30 every morning, no matter what. Big mistake that I thought, oh, we don't need to meet every day. We don't need to waste time. I hate meetings personally. No, it's we're so much more on point when we meet. So I meet with my business team, and we talk about what we accomplished for the day, some goals, and just do some training sometimes. And then we just jam. And so usually up until about noon, I'm all about just selling courses, basically. So we have, over 300,000 emails of coaches who've purchased courses in the past, been to our clinics. And so we usually try to get at least 2 or 3 sports out a day. And that just kind of puts us on the board. So until we get 100 bookings in a day, that's all I'm thinking about, right? So the morning, I'm pretty much getting all my emails out. And then the afternoon, I usually spend my time on the phone for some reason. I'm talking to coaches. I'm working on partnership. I try to do a few big things. And then I usually go up to the office after 2. So in the morning, I'm just too busy to drive downtown, and I want to get stuff done. And then my background is really unique. I've been working when I was in high school. I worked 40 hours a week. When I was in college, I was a door-to-door book salesman, working over 80 hours a week. So I like working hard. I mean, I do rest some, but I'd rather just build my business than play a video game. It's so different. So night, it's more product. And so I talk to most of my team is offshore as far as engineers. So I do a lot with the product. So we're just making the technology better. So that's at night. And I always try to get at least something set up, like a win, a victory, for the next morning, for when I wake up. So like either schedule some emails out for the next day, the night before. So every day is different, but I typically know when I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and I can't sleep. I used to sit there for an hour and a half and try to go back to sleep. I jam. Like when I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, it's my subconscious telling me that I've got something big on my mind. And I jam out and then get some stuff done for an hour and a half, 2 hours to fall back asleep. So that's kind of my typical schedule. So I work most weekends. I work a lot. So I'm just at the stage right now where every second I work, it really makes a difference. And I'll tell you the biggest difference from my first startup, my last startup, my first startup was I'm really not a digital marketing guy. And that would have been better, I guess, for that company. I'm a relationship guy. I'm a sales guy. I'm a strategic, like where it really suits the startup. My skill set suits the startup a lot better than my first startup. So
Is there any advice that someone gave to you that just made such a huge impact and you always think of it, at that moment, you're like, when you start sliding or get depressed or, and it kind of pulls you back. What's that advice that you hold on to?
I was lucky, man. I had some really good mentors when I was younger. One mentor is Fred, and he was just he's so wise and didn't say a lot of things, but things I got from Fred, it was like, sometimes you get caught up and like, I even do it today. Like I'll go, how did this company just raise $4 million? This company raised $10 million, zero traction. And like, I think we can't help it as entrepreneurs, like compare ourselves. Right. But he used to always just tell me, hey, just take care of your own backyard and just stay focused and just jam. And I still kind of have to think about that because it's we're human, right? And we sometimes like look at these other things, and I'm really good about just jamming. And I had the best mentors as far as a direct sales type program where I just learned how to really focus and like make every single second of the day count. It's like I was taught this like Easter egg hunt analogy, and when I was in sales, and they would look at like there's so many buyers, we just got to find those buyers as quick as possible. So I became a machine about what can I do to get to them faster than anybody else. And so I use that same mentality in the startups, because somebody sometimes looked at it like, how did you get thousands of coaches to create courses, how'd you do it? Because I just reached out to them fast. I don't wait for people to come to me. I make things happen. I just move and I figure it out. And it's like, I know entrepreneurs that just try to hire the right people. Just take a course, learn how to do it and just stay up till 2:00. And just Fred really helped with that. He also really taught me how to just meet people where they're at. I tend to sometimes I'm pretty, like there's some coach that spent $20,000 building his own custom solution to have this idea and I get it. Right. So I don't approach that coach going, that was really stupid. You know how many courses you're gonna have to sell just to make it what you spent trying to build your own solution. I go, hey coach, why don't you just throw up one video, see what you think. And then usually 6 months later, he's like, this is great. I'm making more money off your site than my site. The technology is way better. And then 2 years later, he has his whole catalog on COACHTUBE and he's pushing COACHTUBE on his own website. But I know that it would be stupid of me to approach him day one going, yeah, that you made some mistakes. That was stupid. So I think just meeting people where they're at was something also I learned from Fred.
Oh.
But
so last question, and I think this might be the most important one. Let's talk about the mullet. Let's talk about the mullet going on back there. Little all business in front and party in the back.
So before I got on this call, I told Rob I have no permanent record of me having a mullet. And so this is something now my future family, people can hold against me forever, because once you record something, it's forever. So, I'm actually kind of cleaned it up right now, but it's got some flow going on. But no, I definitely don't think it helps in with dating. but it just makes me laugh at myself, and I don't take myself very serious. And
well, the one thing that's serious is your business. You created a monster. You landed on it. You're on it. You really captured the market. You're ahead of the game once again. This one, that's Wade over there with his mullet. This is Rob over here with the glasses. And thanks again for joining on myconnectsports.com. See you next time.
I got street cred with the high school baseball players.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.